Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jim Guerriero. I want to thank you all for coming this afternoon and showing the support to Jimmy. My sole purpose here is to lend my support so that you realize that as a small company, we're going to treat everybody with the respect that they deserve and not as a number string like the big companies do. I can't sponsor stadiums, I can't sponsor golf tournaments or have national commercials on. But briefly, I just want to touch base on home improvement. So you have two different home improvement options that you can use for both purchase or refinance. That is home style, which is Fannie Mae. You have 203K, which is FHA. And there's actually, I should have said, there's a third little known one that's VA. So with VA or 203K, one, you could go no money down, purchase a home that needs work, whether you want to upgrade the kitchen, whether you want to add a room, add a level, you can do it with no money down if you're VA eligible. That's not very well known. Most people are familiar with the FHA 203K and the home style. Now, what's the difference between home style and 203K? To put it in a nutshell, home style allows you to do all the improvements you want to do, those things that are desired, as long as they are fixed to the property. 203K allows you to do what's needed. So to give you a contrast, to give you an example, 203K you cannot use for landscaping, but home style you can. 203K you can't do a built-in pool. Home style you can. So just understand that subtle difference. And to put VA back into the mix, VA is going to run along the same lines as the FHA 203K. It is what is needed. Upgrades, if you want to do an addition, just nothing that's considered luxury. So that's it in a nutshell. I would love to talk about everything that you see here on the banner. The only thing that's important to understand is that we're one source for many, many different solutions. If we can't do it, there's a great chance that there's nobody out there that can. Okay, because those days of hard money for owner-occupied are almost non-existent, but we have one of the only programs in the country that can help out somebody that owner-occupies a property with hard money. But the caveat is it has to make sense. There has to be an out. We're not putting them in a difficult situation to make it more difficult. We're putting them in a solution that they ultimately have to find their way to a long-term answer. Question?
When does the contractor get paid throughout the 203K process? I had a problem where I had to go through 9 contractors to try to find somebody because they were getting paid at the end of the process.
No.
I wanted to take the risk for $20,000.
No, what happens is there's certain paperwork that has to be done by the contractor, additional paperwork that's done in conjunction with the borrower and the contractor. And one of the things that's the contractor's responsibility is setting up a disbursement schedule based on the size and scope of the project. So if it's 4 disbursements, 5 disbursements, whatever it is, once that work is done for disbursement 1, an inspection takes place, they confirm that that work is done, and the funds are released for disbursement number 2, so on and so forth. Until at the very end, when you have the CO, they do the final disbursement to the contractor, and the contractor's made whole. So if there was an issue that you experienced before, you were with the wrong lender.
Jimmy, it's contractual.
Any other questions?
How long is the paperwork, like how much time is required for the paperwork by the contractor for 203?
That's a good question. What we look to do, first of all, in the beginning, is to get the contractor paperwork out of the way first before we go into the application with the borrower, because then it becomes a standard FHA type of or Fannie Mae type of loan. With the contractor, we get everything over to them. They can go online and complete it in Adobe. They don't have to print it out, hand fill it out. But really, it's basically as long as the contractor takes to get it into us. It's only about 4 documents, 5 documents. But it's just basically a breakdown, reference material. If they're already a 203K, specifically approved contractor, then it's much simpler. but it's not too taxing at all to get that accomplished.
Wait, they have to be approved?
No, they can be. They do not have to be approved.
So once,
They,
sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just trying to clarify because I have somebody that's interested in that, so I'm like, haven't dealt with it before.
yeah, it's relatively standard. It's just about references and so forth.
Okay, so
Like you're saying 5 documents, but 5 documents could be 50 pages each.
No, no, no.
What's the realistic time frame for a contractor that,
They should be able to they should be able to complete that documentation in one sitting.
1 hour?
About an hour, yeah. Absolutely.
So I guess to go to her question, when you're going for that type of loan, you should already have your contractors lined up.
Correct.
Okay, so what, in the case that you
Not-
don't, you're just like, you know what, I wanna do this loan, in my head, I feel like I'm gonna need X, Y, Z. Do you guys go ahead and start processing the paperwork, or how does that work? Do you have to wait until I have 3 or 4 bids in, or 3 or 4 contractors in order to process the paperwork, or?
Well, the difficult thing is you really need to know what your numbers are in terms of the home improvement side of the financing.
So is that something?
Because in some cases, it's going to be a purchase, so we're going to know what the purchase price is and what they're putting down. But we're still going to need that contractor estimate in order to do the numbers correctly. So really, you can't do it in advance. Can you just do some general number crunching and make sure that it works, that they're qualified? Absolutely. The max, just so you know, especially for your county here, is $679,650. Okay, for both FHA and Fannie Mae home style. Once you go above that, you're either coming out of pocket or we're looking for alternative construction financing, which is much more challenging, to say the least.
But you can do it.
But you can do it.
You can
You're
do
just
it.
not going to be able to do it with 3% down, or in the case of VA, 100%. And actually, VA, I may have to backpedal a little bit. VA, you may be able to go higher, but I just have to confirm that because that falls under my expert that couldn't make it. So just reach out to me. I'll make sure every one of you has my cards before we leave. And if you have any further questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. And if I don't have the answers, Jimmy doesn't have the answers, we know how to find the answers for you. We'll never make unqualified statements to any of you. Is that it? Thank you very much. Bon appetit.